joined by our latest evictees, Ricci and Lauren. So, firstly, were you surprised that it was you two this evening? The whole house was up after all.
Obviously it's a bit of a shock, but everyone has their time. It's time to go, and everyone has for a reason.
Don't be diplomatic though. Were you gutted to come out? It's 48 hours before the final. Would you like to have been in there till the end?
Of course, definitely.
Yeah.
You can see there's a few games going on now, though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of games going on, and it's just when you treat yourself and stuff like that. When you made it this far, you would love to make it at the end, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when people start playing games just to get a bit of screen time, just to mix it up and that, it's like, you're being fake.
Something tells me Ricci wants to talk about somebody in particular about these games, and who are you? Who? Specific?
Just orderly. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think he's a lovely bloke and that, but he copied James the other night playing daft games, taking all the things off, and I think obviously he just cooks. And then he goes to bed at night.
Is cooking playing a game? No, or is it just
no,
I
something?
completely disagree.
But I think during the day, obviously he's thinking, oh, it's coming up to nomination time, oh, it's coming up to eviction time. He needs to be seen doing something on camera. So I thought, oh, you've plenty doing this to get a bit of screen time.
He's been quite quiet actually. We haven't seen lots of him screen time wise, but what we have seen is him be quite rational. I think he seemed like the dad of the house a little bit.
He is. He's very caring. He's very honest, very calm. He isn't definitely.
You obviously have different views on audio. 100%. I can see in your eyes and in your eyes. But what we really need to talk about is you two, because your romance / showmance has kind of dominated the last few weeks. So it'd be nice to hear from both of you what you individually thought was going on. So Ricci. Okay. Let's start with you. What did you think was happening from the beginning and all the way through? We know that Lauren kind of said to you the other night that nothing's going to happen, but up until that point, what did you think was going on?
I fell for Lauren as soon as we walked in. I got on with her really, really, really well. Stop it with the alls. Anyway, I'm obviously true to myself as well. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, we clicked, and I sat her down. And I said, "Look, I don't want to be fake or." Everything like that, I want to be real with you. Do you want to just be friends, or would you like to see how things go? And then she said, "Oh, we'll see how things go." And obviously,
we saw that. We saw that in the kitchen. We saw that happen.
Obviously, there was a lot of flirting going on some nights, but then during the day, where she would sort of distance herself sometimes, and it was like, I didn't know which way to take it, kind of thing.
She had a sore head.
Yeah, but it was just hard to read being there. Obviously, with each other 24/7. It's not. Complete reality. Do you know what I mean? It's like
for a reality show, it's quite a false environment.
Yeah.
And what was your take on things? What did you think was happening?
What do you mean
between the two of you?
I think Ricci's a wicked guy. I'll always be friends with him. I haven't got a bad word to say about him, but I feel like it was a bit of pressure that I kind of put under a little bit, and I was completely honest at the beginning, and then as time went on, I felt very cornered, and I was like, this isn't going to work because you don't talk to me much in the day. And it was like jump for the drinks, and then no offence, but jump for the drinks, and then it was like then you'd want to talk to me, but sometimes trying to get you to join in and stuff, but you wouldn't. I don't know, but there's nothing bad. But I think at first I was like, oh no, nothing, and then we kind of grew close, and then I saw a different side, and I was just like.
We did see you say initially, because some housemates were obviously asking you, and you said you didn't, you weren't into him that way, but you did adore him and you loved him as a friend. But then James would say things like, "But he's such a great guy." And you're like, "Oh well, yeah, maybe."
Exactly.
That whole thing. Do you think you could have maybe been clearer with him directly?
Yeah, I think
rather than saying to
being
kind of
completely honest. I think at first I was like, "Oh no, we're just mates." Then our relationship grew, and I thought, actually going to give it a go, and then. He kind of went a bit funny with me, and every time I tried to do something, he would be like, make me feel uncomfortable. He wouldn't joke with it, and I felt a bit pressured, and I think that's what scared me off a little bit. And I still think he's great, but I can't force something, But I thought I was very honest with you, and the whole way through it was real, and time changes.
You're not saying very much. Please feel free to chip in and give your opinion as well, because it's obviously about the two of you.
Yeah. I mean,
it was a laugh,
All I can say is I was real. I was honest, and I was upfront about everything I did. And
do you feel that Lauren wasn't real then?
Love you too. Anyway, I just felt that night when you saw that last bit there, when she said, "Look, me and you aren't gonna." Obviously, I was like, "Nah, you've had my life." I felt this is what I felt like from those. I was like, "You've had my life all the way through here," kind of thing. I'm being really
And you
honest.
mentioned that you thought that she'd had you on a bit of a showmance.
Yeah, that's what I felt that, yeah, because...
Do you believe that? Still?
I don't know.
I think you changed towards me a little bit. Like, you'd offered to help pack, and then you went a bit strange, and then I'd never know where I was coming or going. I don't know.
I feel like a counsellor right now. I feel like I'm
But we're
trying
good
to-
friends, like, as well.
Well,
It's not...
you say that, you know, you're good friends. You were brilliant friends in there. Obviously, things have kind of intertwined and got slightly confusing on both sides, maybe. And you've said that you will always be his friend, but can you be friends with somebody outside of this situation that you really like, that you know isn't...
Of course, because I'm not forced to be with her every 24/7, am I? I'm joking. No. Of course, we'll always be friends, do you know what I mean? We're friends before this anyway. So if that's where it goes...
So it
then we'll
hasn't
always be
damaged your
no,
friendship or relationship?
No.
James had a big input in everything in the house. He was very good friends with you.
So
and
James is actually one of the nicest blokes
He did give you lots of advice. Do you feel like you took a lot of it on board? Or
You're sorry?
He gave you a lot of advice
Yeah.
in things that were happening with you and Lauren.
Do you know what James is? I mean, I think a lot of people have got James wrong. He's not playing games by any stretch of imagination whatsoever.
Yeah.
He just likes being mischievous.
Yeah.
And honestly...
He likes to wind people up.
Yeah.
He's held his hand up
He
and
does,
said that,
he admits it. And to be honest with you, since David, I mean, when I lost David, then it was kind of like I lost that sort of, do you know what I mean? He was always there for me. We spoke about everything. And James sort of took that role on, do you know what I mean? He was there for me a lot.
Person.
Yeah. And losing that go-to person, someone the same age, got the do you know what I mean? Same as you as a person.
Yeah.
Losing that early on is really, really hard.
So do you felt that James helped you in the house?
Oh yeah, definitely was there for us, definitely.
Let's talk about you and James, because during that feedback task, obviously, he didn't stand up and admit to everything. He did apologise.
The thing is with James...
Did you buy the apology?
No, because I felt like the thing with James, I don't like James, but he's a massive fan of game more than anyone.
You think James is?
Yeah, he runs around to see who thinks that he can try and be friends with at the time, and he doesn't really genuinely follow anything he says. I don't dislike James, so I've had laughs with him, but I can see another side to him where he's constantly putting words in and upsetting people, and you know, it was very, very difficult at the time living with him, and someone's constantly making comments about someone and then doing the absolute opposite. We was there 24 hours a day. You only see an hour's worth of what we actually live with, if you know that.
I get the feeling there's a Team Audley, Team James thing going on.
There's no teams, but I just...
with you two.
Audley's very real and a good person, and I love him to bits, and I think he's brilliant.
Okay, we've got to talk about Gary. We have to ask everybody that comes out of that house about Gary, because everybody is saying he's extremely difficult to live with. We are seeing somebody hugely entertaining. How is it difficult living with him?
Do you know what it is? The past few days, I've actually really spent a lot of time with Gary. He's got some awesome stories. Now, when you've got him one-on-one like we are now,
he's fascinating.
He's unbelievable. It's just when there's a lot of people around, he becomes sort of, I mean, obviously I know he's got a problem hearing and stuff like that, but he doesn't have no fit, because 1 minute he's rude, next minute he's like the loveliest person in the world.
Yeah.
But then he gets himself back in that situation again, do you know what I mean? And you find it's draining every single day, going the same thing over and over. It was just draining, really.
During face-to-face nominations, I think it was the first time that you did it, you were very cutting to him, and to his face as well. Do you regret anything that was said during that time?
I don't regret anything I did in the house, not one thing. I mean, we've all had words of Gary. Whether he takes them on board, it's up to him. But
I mean, kind of the things like saying that he's a bad role model to his child, and that's quite personal to kind of go there.
I can understand where you come from.
Do you know what I mean?
What I'm seeing in the house is someone that's pushing women around, just like stopping people when they speak every 2 minutes, and everything that we see. Obviously, like Lauren said there, you see an hour of what we see. We see 24/7, and what I was seeing in the house, that's what I went by.
So what will you take from your time in the house? Never to do it again.
No, do you know what it is? It was obviously I thought the environment was not suited to me, sort of thing. I'm a 27-year-old young single lad, party boy, and it was every single day was hard work. It was long.
What was so hard about it?
Like, literally, there was no food at all for the first 11, 12 days. And obviously, I like going to the gym, eating right, dieting right, and do you know what I mean? That went out the window instantly. David went out the window instantly. I was like, oh bloody hell! Do you know what I mean? Then you wake up in the morning and you find yourself sitting there having the same conversations with people over and over again, 24/7.
Going around in circles.
Yeah.
Welcome to the world of Big Brother. Lauren, did you enjoy it? Any regrets at all?
I don't regret anything. I've been me 100%. I haven't played any games. I've met some amazing people, and I don't regret anything that's happened.
You have been brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wow.
Cheers, Emma.
Friends and family.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, Emma.